Yo, what's going on, you guys? I just played a big tournament and honestly, it didn't go too well for me. The first round I actually played pretty decently and I just didn't pick up very many birdies, but the second round started off really bad, but then halfway through, I totally figured out how to play in disc golf tournaments, and I'm gonna share with you what I learned from that today. And hopefully for your next tournament, or maybe it's a backup and you got a couple minutes, you can watch this video, maybe learn something. So the first tip I have for disc golf tournaments is that every single shot matters. So even if it's a par 3 and you're about to take a 5, that putt for 5 is super important. Sometimes in a tournament, just being 4 strokes better can put you from 50th place all the way up to 20th place going into your next round. Just remember that every single shot in the disc golf tournament is of equal importance. I know there might be like some crazy OB or some island hole on some course, but that's kind of like besides the point. Now moving on to tip number 2, this one is more about mental game. So like I said, the first round of this tournament, I didn't do so great. So I was kind of like mapping out, what I could possibly shoot, if I got all the birdies I need to get and stuff like that. And that just kind of put me in this like state of, okay, if I just get all these, it's gonna be great. But when I actually went to play, I felt like I was taking it way too seriously. Not only was I more nervous, but I also felt like I had to prove something to my card mates. It's almost like I told them, hey guys, I'm gonna shoot -10. This is how I'm gonna do it. And since I wasn't doing it, I felt like more pressure to play well. And since I wasn't playing well, I was feeling like upset inside. For some reason, when I take the game way too seriously, I play a lot worse. I'm a lot more nervous. I don't throw the discs on the angles, how I normally would. I don't play as well as I normally would. So what do you do if you're someone like that who takes the game too seriously, and when you take it too seriously, you don't play that well? My advice to you is pretend it's like a practice round and you just ran into these 3 people, and these 3 people are really good, so you want to keep up with them. That's pretty much how I think of it, and I have way more fun when I think of the round like that. Like I'm only playing 1 shot, right? Because there's multiple people. I'm not going to be throwing multiple shots. I don't know these people, so I'm just going to play good so I don't have to throw another shot or don't want to throw another shot. And then 2 other ways to kind of think about the tournament round if that doesn't work for you. You could pretend that you have to carry a doubles partner, or you could just pretend that you're on your own and you're the only one on the course. Sometimes that works for me, but I think the practice round thing really does work personally for me, because honestly, you probably throw all your best shots during your practice round, or at least I do. Oh, I parked hole 15 in practice, but you took a 3 or a 4 during the tournament, right? Like it doesn't matter what you did during the practice round, but if you just pretend you're at the practice round, chances are you might actually just park that hole, who knows? That's kind of what was working for me, and I was throwing way better off the tee as soon as that started happening. I started parking some crazy shots like I normally would, during a league round or a casual round. And that's just my advice to you. Pretend you're playing in a practice round on a tournament. So far, every shot matters. Pretend it's a practice round. Moving on to tip number 3. This one is gonna be, don't be afraid to add a disc to your bag during a tournament that maybe you don't always throw, but it's gonna have some use during the tournament. Hole 12, where if you have this really overstable disc that you normally don't throw, you can get it too. So don't be afraid to add that disc to your bag. So tip number 4 is to include stuff in your bag that may or may not be essential to comfort during your game. So today I got a small cut on my finger and it was bleeding, and there was like a loose piece of skin and it was really annoying, but thankfully I had medical tape in my bag. So I just wrapped it up and I was able to keep playing. If I didn't have the medical tape in my bag, it would not only be painful, but I would definitely be playing a lot worse. Another thing that I keep in my bag that I must have other than towels is gym chalk. Lately I've been using gym chalk. Honestly, I think gym chalk is the way to go. Your hands are gonna stay cleaner than they would if you were using the gravel on the ground. Sometimes there is really good gravel on the ground, but like during the rain, you're not gonna be able to do that. So just having gym chalk all the time, getting used to that, is just gonna be so much better than anything else. And yes, climbing chalk is the same as gym chalk. Final tip for you guys on tournaments it is to make sure you're lined up for every single shot of the tournament. So just take 3 to 5 extra seconds to make sure your body is facing the exact line that you want to let the disc go on. Now, obviously, you might mess up the angle, but if you're throwing that exact line, and if you're in the open, it's probably still gonna be a decent shot. Now, obviously, you might mess up in the woods here and there, but if you focus on just going in that straight line, pulling through that straight line, sidearm or backhand, as long as you line up the shot beforehand, I would say like 95% of the time, you're probably going to throw a good shot. A lot of my card mates in the open field, I noticed they just kind of stand on the tee box and then go to throw. Now, obviously, they've been playing for a long time, but they don't take the extra 1 to 3 seconds, whatever, to just line up their shot, make sure that their body is facing that exact line, and then go run up and throw. Sometimes I just stand to the side and then run up and throw. Sometimes that works for people, but honestly, I think I hit more fairways than them when it counted because I took the time to just like stand there, line up, and then throw a backhand. And normally I only have to do this for backhand because sidearm's a little bit different, but especially if you throw all backhand, make sure you line everything up. Anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.